commitments on how to resolve the long-standing, hard-to-shake-off headache of corruption. President William Ruto, Chief Justice Martha Koome, and Speaker of the National Assembly Moses Wetangula have reiterated that they are at war with corruption in their domains, as graft is posing a grave threat to the nation. This follows sustained attacks on the judiciary by the President and other members of the executive and the broader political class that is allied to the head of state. The meeting in and of itself had received criticism by the opposition and the Law Society of Kenya. If the details of the meeting and talks were solely around the issues cited in the press statements, and the leaders follow through their promises, then this is a good sign for the country. There is nothing wrong with having such high-level consultations unless they threaten the key principle of separation of power. The judiciary must discharge its functions without any interference from the executive, as has been happening lately. The prayer of many a Kenyan is that the meeting did not take the same route as the intimidation that judges have been battling, as the Chief Justice admitted to be happening due to the attacks by the political class. The CJ and her team walked out of the meeting with commitments to increase funding and more. It was a goodie bag given at State House. Again, it is the prayer of many a Kenyan that this is not in any way to influence the positions and stand of the judiciary, but just the executive doing what is right and just. Now, the respective arms have pledged to perform their functions in a manner that respects, promotes and enhances the rule of law, institutional independence and respect for court decisions. This is welcome, as President Ruto had only the other day threatened to disobey court orders, claiming they are working against his development agenda. The public attacks on the judiciary pose a serious threat to the rule of law and to the sanctity of the institution. The overriding hope here is that this meeting will mark the beginning of a genuine and effective war on corruption, and is not just a public relations smile for the cameras exercise or an attempt to coerce the judiciary into doing the executive's bidding. The judiciary must remain independent, as it is the place where all go in search of justice. It must also not be a marketplace for justice, where the highest bidder gets it. So as the arms hold hands in a noble effort, they must still ensure hygiene and each do their part for the good of Kenyans. That is the memo. A woman's head found at a Kiamba dam confirmed to be Rita Waeni's. We have details of a revealing affidavit by two suspects in the gruesome murder. Plus, amid numerous reports of women being killed, we delve into some data on murders involving women and the psychology around it all. We have experts to shed light on these dynamics. Also tonight, commitments made, goodies in judiciary's basket of the meeting that sought to address the acrimony between the executive and the judiciary.
The judiciary itself is being compromised by the executive. The judiciary is being held hostage by the executive.
And he is a teacher by day and a guard by night. The heartwarming and inspirational story of Fabian Kaburu.
Live from Nation Centre, this is NTV Tonight with Smriti Viriarthi.
Thanks very much for joining us tonight. David Agondoa is our sign language interpreter. President William Ruto has resolved to fill up the judiciary's purse to give impetus to the fight against graft and ensure efficient service delivery. Now, this resolution came after a meeting sought by Chief Justice Martha Koome was held at State House, Nairobi, which brought together the three arms of government. But even as the two recently warring arms of government appear to have buried the hatchet, opposition leader Raila Odinga has termed the meeting as an irresponsible move that could spell the loss of independence for the judiciary. NTV's Sydney Chazima has more on that.
It is a meeting that may signal the beginning of the end of the recent tug-of-war between the executive and the judiciary. President William Ruto, Chief Justice Martha Koome, and Speaker of the National Assembly Moses Wetangula, and other notable top officials of government met at State House, Nairobi. Corruption in the judiciary, which was the issue at the apex of President Ruto's onslaught against the arm of government, was discussed, with the three arms of government noting that it remains an existential threat to the nation. And in its move to enable the judiciary deliver on its mandate and fight against graft, the national government has agreed to facilitate the recruitment of an additional 25 judges of the High Court, 11 new judges of the Court of Appeal, and also mobilize resources to conclude the vehicle leasing program to facilitate the judiciary's transport needs. This move to increase the judiciary's purse has been seen by experts as the executive's power ploy to softly twist the judiciary and clip its independence bit by bit. Opposition leader Raila Odinga has termed the move by CJ Koome to meet Ruto at State House as ill-advised.
This, in our view, is an irresponsible move. If there is supposed to be a dialogue, this dialogue should be held in a neutral place. State House is the head of the executive, is the seat of the executive. That's where the president resides. If there's going to be a dialogue over issues of governance, should be held in a neutral ground. But this means that the judiciary itself is being compromised by the executive. The judiciary is being held hostage by the executive.
But in its statement, State House affirms that the independence of the three arms of government will not be compromised. It was also agreed that court orders will not be subject to disobedience from the executive. This resolution appears to be hinged on the statement by President Ruto's allies, urging him to disregard court orders that put brakes on government policies. The statement put out by State House had pleasantries and truths written all over it. But what happens to the claims by the president and his deputy that there are corrupt elements in the judiciary who must be uprooted? Has this meeting cleared the allegations, or will some heads roll in the judiciary? The jury is out. Sydney Chazima, NTV.
All right, from that, tonight we can confirm that the head that was found in the waters of a dam in Kiambaa is indeed Rita Waianis, the 20-year-old lady whose decapitated body was found at a short-stay house in Roysambu. This as a police affidavit reveals more details on the investigations into her murder. Brian Mushiri reports on the latest in this probe on one of the country's most unsettling crimes. All right, we'll have Brian's story in just a moment, but still on this issue, we are indeed delving deeper. There have, of course, been many reports of women being killed in various parts of the country. And this, of course, has caused great concern among the public. Now, aside from what has been reported in recent days, we now seek to get more insight into the murders. Data has been shared by Africa Uncensored, Africa Data Hub and Odipodev as well. And those Details will come up on our screen in just a moment. Oh, there you have it. Before we get to my guests, some of that information. Now, what the data has revealed is that the key murderers, well, in top place, it's the husband, with 241 deaths reported caused by the husband. Second, boyfriends. Third, strangers. Fourth, friends. And fifth, ex-husbands. And also, these are the counties where the majority of deaths have been reported. Of course, in other counties, there may be unreported deaths, but these are the reported ones, with Nairobi in the lead with 63, Nakuru follows with 55, and Kiambu with 41. The method of murder, it is indeed gruesome. In top place, it's women are being knifed or hacked to death. Secondly, they're being shot or killed with blunt force. A third, strangled, and fourth, other vicious ways. And the victims' ages vary there between 18 to 35 and 35 to 50. And 50 plus, 44 deaths were recorded, and 25 deaths recorded for under 18. We will delve into that data in just a moment, but first, here is that story by NTV's Brian Mushiri.
The chilling state in which 20-year-old Rita Waeni was found having been killed is still mind-boggling and unimaginable to many. Her body, which was found decapitated, Rita Waeni's. The family visited the city mortuary to see the head and confirm whether it was their kin's or not. They, later, alongside detectives, went to Kiambaa where the head was recovered and confirmed that the purple dress in which the head had been wrapped was hers. This has been a hard-to-imagine or comprehend crime, even as the government's chief pathologist, Johansen Oduor, after examining the decapitated body, confessed to never having seen such a situation in his tens of years in service. And as many process the slowly unraveling details of the murder, there are two Nigerian nationals in police custody. In an affidavit by the investigating officer, the two Nigerians, namely William Ovie Opia and John Bull Asibor, were arrested in a house in Dendero, Kiambu County. Here, police say that they also found a hatchet, a butcher knife, a Kenyan national ID, 6 mobile phones, 3 laptops, 2 Safaricom SIM cards, 2 Telcom SIM cards, 6 Airtel SIM cards, and a Safaricom branded SIM card holder. The police further indicate that the suspects are illegally in Kenya, as William Opia's passport has expired, and they add that John Bull casually claimed that he lost his passport about a year ago. Further, investigations indicate that William Ovie is the one who bought the hatchet from an online vendor and claims he purchased it for self-defense. The court has granted orders to detain the duo until the 31st of January this year. Brian Mushiri, NTV, Nairobi.
Well, that shocking revelation certainly raises numerous questions. And with me now in studio, I have two guests. One of them is Dr. Susan Gitau, a counseling psychologist. And also I have with me Patricia Andago. She is a research and data journalist with Odipodev. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Susan, I'll begin with you. This news, of course, is shocking and frightening. How do you even begin to explain what is happening? In your view, is this femicide, which is described as the killing of a woman or girl, in particular by a man, and on account of her gender?
Well, may I say it's shocking, and especially to the family, and when it is done by strangers, and even worse, when it is done by somebody inside the family. We are yet to get more information from the researchers, because the trend at some point was very high, and then at some point went down, and now it's up again. And so finding out what could be happening behind, I think it's also very critical. But we know, definitely, when we think about femicide, to me, I see a lot of hatred towards women, objectifying them, because the manner they are killed, it can tell you it's all about gender. But when, again, we start discussing about gender, we are thinking about poverty issues, because you will find vulnerable young women and girls. You have seen the age gap. It's actually the productive population in the country. You will find that could be a factor. The other one could be the gender stereotypes and discrimination, and a lot of what is trending on social media. Because you cannot victimize me, you cannot harm me, and then you end up blaming me for that. So when more of this is happening, and you can read from the comments on social media, you will find some people like they're celebrating. It's like honor killing. We are not here to please anybody. This is our life. So you can also imagine what happens in the lives of these women. And I guess it's very important for the people who are watching us right now and listening to us. If somebody tells you, I'm going to kill you, that's enough for you to report. It's enough for you to actually run away. Why am I saying that? Because these people who kill women, they have warned them several times. They have tried to hit them several times. But rarely do people think. Sometimes you're even lured. We have seen cases where somebody says, now we have made up, I will never do what I did to you again. They end up killing you. The other thing I would want to say is that we are realizing, even in our work as counseling psychologists and therapists, that there's a lot of pent-up anger issues. And there's rising cases of mental health issues. And I guess we have not looked for a very strategic, systematic, and multi-sectoral approach to mental health issues, because you cannot kill anyone if you are normal. Something is amiss. But are we looking at it that way? If you listen to very many people, men especially these days, they are hurt, they are angry. Are we looking at what is making them angry?
Okay, yeah, and we'll delve into that in just a moment. But let me bring Patricia into this. Patricia, we revealed some of that data, and you were involved in collecting it. Before we go further, tell us how you gathered these shocking statistics.
Yeah, so I think even before I delve into that, I just want to echo some sentiments that Susan has made regarding the fact that there are majority of the time there are signs. So the data does show that. I think you've read it out. For most of the cases, it's either a husband, a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend, an ex-husband, or a relative. That is 75% of our cases. It was somebody you knew, and there were signs for most of them. There were signs way before the killing happened that this person is abusive and that there is a risk that that person should have, you know, kept themselves safe from.
Right.
Yeah. Just to move on to your second question in terms of how we collected the data. So for a good part of last year, we've been scraping data from media reports. So several media reports from Nation to Standard, to Citizen, to K24, to the People Daily. We've been scraping data using a variety of keywords which are usually used to tell these stories. And then we took a very long time cleaning and verifying that data and ensuring that the data that we have left in our database is within the definition of femicide, the official definition according to the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime. Yeah. Okay.
Susan, you talked about some of the root causes, one perhaps being poverty and the other being the issue of mental health. Now, I want to talk further about that. Patricia brought up the fact that in many cases there were signs. What are some of these signs and how can women act upon them?
So when we basically talk about sexual and gender-based violence, we are talking about all forms of violence, whether it's physical, psychological, emotional, financial. So most people are unaware that when somebody hurls an insult at you, they're basically abusing you and they are giving you a warning. When they are also hitting you, pushing you, they are giving you a sign. When they also deny you money and they know you need it, especially if you have children, and they have the money, not that they don't have, they are abusing you. And slowly by slowly what happens to the abused, you are also growing in terms of anger, resentments, bitterness. This other person who is the perpetrator, day in, day out, they are enjoying. They actually enjoy making you feel like a victim. And the more women are made to feel like victims, the more they go deeper into the same. But one day, this person who is being victimized will try to hit back. And this one who is the perpetrator is waiting for that opportune time. Some other people, it's issues of unresolved trauma. Like I saw my father maybe beat up my mom, and I thought and I said and I saw, I'll never do that. But I come and repeat the same thing because we do get attracted to spouses who are similar to our own parents. But we forget, and no one is helping you to have this insight. When I talk about unresolved traumas, it's because people react on triggers. A small trigger. And I think the cases went up during COVID-19. I'm sure she can tell that because we were discussing. Because a lot of people now could not put up with the pressure in their houses. Because most people that you also find abusing alcohol, drugs, and other substances of abuse, what is it that they are masking? When somebody leaves home very early and then late at night, that's when they come home, there is no conversation. What are we talking about? There is negative tension, negative energy, and it only waits for a trigger for it to be explosive. And those are the issues we are saying. Let's not go looking for psychosis. Let's not go looking for schizophrenia. Can we look at the way people are interacting on a daily basis? Because some of the communication that happens before people kill each other or before femicide happens, you can tell. Even family members say, this was happening, this was said, this was reported. And you hear some of the mothers telling their daughters, I persevered everything with your father, that's why we are still there. But today it's different. I think those days they would walk away, now no one is walking away, they are taking your life.
Right. Patricia, you know, on the Africa Data Hub site, it has been revealed that, quote, the findings show that the cases are not isolated. They reveal recurring patterns indicating a deeper and more systemic issue. Can you explain this?
Well, I think regarding the systemic issue, I might leave that to Susan, but in terms of the pattern, I think one of them is what we've talked about, that most of it is, you know, it's mostly the perpetrator is somebody who is very close to the victim. So it's literally somebody that they trusted. Another pattern that we are seeing recurring over and over is how scary it is that many of these case killings are happening at home, in the victim's home, or, you know, in the perpetrator's home. Another pattern that we're seeing is in terms of justice and the search for justice. There are very few cases that we can confidently say have been closed. Of course, that could be because we also used data collection from the media reports, and perhaps some of the cases have not been reported by the media. But even for the few that we have found, it takes an average of about 5 years to close a case. So you can imagine that family carrying that burden already after what has happened and having to wait for that long period of time to seek justice, and many of them actually don't end up getting it.
And is relying on media reports the only or the best way to go about getting deeper into the data?
I think it's a very good start. Yeah, I think it's a very good start because, I mean, the media, as in its role, which I strongly believe in, as being the fourth estate and reporting to the public all the issues that are happening, they do have that responsibility, and I do trust that whenever it needs to be said, they will tell the story. So I do believe it's a very good start. However, it would be more beneficial if perhaps we could complement that with police reports, because that could also add the accuracy of the data. Of course, these things are always very sensitive, so it makes it a bit difficult, but that would make it more accurate and comprehensive.
And of course, another challenge is that not everybody does report these issues. Okay, we are almost out of time, but Susan, leave us with a sense of hope. Where can these women and clearly aggrieved and troubled men find help? Where can they turn to? Who can they turn to? Are there institutions out there to avoid such troubling situations?
Well, I know the Kenyan government is trying a lot, because we do have the polycare centers, we have the gender desks in every police station, and I am very happy with what we are trying to do in Thika, because we have police women trained. Those gender desk offices are manned by women, because we say when it comes to violence, women are safer objects. Even when it comes to trauma therapy, cases of sexual, gender-based violence, women are safer objects. Maybe I would also request the media, every time they cover news like this one, so you ask yourself, how is Waini's family moving on? What is happening in that space? So that you can be, if it's possible, because you have our contacts, you can also be telling us, in this home, we have covered this news. Because when she's talking about going deeper into these families' lives, because you have to report, and you have to report in a manner as it is, but who thinks about those families? So I am also calling maybe for the government of Kenya to hasten the steps of ensuring the counselors and psychologists body is working, because we are the only ones, we are the majority of all the mental health practitioners who can reach to the people at the grassroots level. So I also let the families that have been affected to know that sometimes no one else can give you this space, can give you this peace and compassion, but you. And we have a drive right now. We are calling Moyo wa Huruma, that we can help people to go inward, all of us. Because if you go inward, you will think like media, what do we do? If it is the government and the leaders, what do we do? If it is the family members, what do we do? And I believe if this is done in English, so it should be done in Swahili, should be done in mother tongue wherever it's possible. So that the people down there can know what is going on.
Thank you so much. I'm afraid we're out of time, but this is clearly a very deep-rooted problem, and your insights are appreciated. Patricia and Susan, thank you so much. All right, it is now time for a breather. With me has been Dr. Susan Gitau, a counseling psychologist, and also Patricia Andago, research and data journalist with Odipode. Now we take a breather on NTV tonight, but coming up, the inspirational story of Fabian Kaburu, a high school teacher who's also a night guard. Stay with us.
Welcome to the Delight Nakuru, brought to you by Username Investments. Perfect for your dream home, investment for holiday home, going only for 799,000 shillings for an eighth of an acre. SMS Nakuru to 20321 or call 0725 000 222.
Lakini vile hii ekonomi imetufinya, ilinibidi kubadilisha sabuni nikatumia ingine rahisi. Bala, ilibidi nioshe kila kitu mara mbili. Sikuwa na otherwise, nikarudia Ariel.
Ariel, usafi bora kwa mwosho mmoja tu. Panda tukupandishe on Go Entertainment this new year on GoTV bila kulipia extra. Kama uko on GoTV Lite, lipia GoTV Value. Utapata kufurahia GoTV Plus. Tayari on GoTV Value, then lipia GoTV Plus uenjoy GoTV Max. Kama wewe ni wa GoTV Plus, lipia GoTV Max ujinice na shows noma kabisa on GoTV Super. Furahia the best sports, international shows na local shows una like free. Download GoTV Stream. GoTV. Love it.
Join the Optivan family today and experience the epitome of coastal living at Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo by Optivan, just 2.4 kilometers from Mombasa Malindi Road and a mere 4.5 kilometers from the shoreline. For every 400,000 Kenya shillings that you place as a deposit or installment towards any of Optivan's properties, you receive a cashback of 4,000 Kenya shillings to top up for your back-to-school shopping. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Optivan,
The Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, Water Sector Trust Fund,
the Council of Governors, and other collaborating institutions welcome you to the Water and Sanitation Investors Conference at KICC, Nairobi, Kenya, from 6th to 8th March 2024. The theme of the conference is Accelerating Investments for Sustainable Access to Water and Sanitation for All. To participate in the conference, visit www.wasic-invest.ke. See you there. Water Sector Trust Fund, financing the water sector.
In the hustle and bustle of life, one thing matters the most: your financial well-being. No matter where you are from or where you're going, financial success is a journey we all share. Introducing IG Sacco, your partner in financial growth. Join us and together we'll unlock a world of opportunities. With a wide range of savings accounts and expert guidance, you'll learn the art of saving and financial management. It's time to let your money work for you. Start saving, start investing, start growing with IG Sacco. All you need is a duly filled form, copy of your recent payslip, copy of your ID alongside your original one, and your KRA PIN. Visit our website www.igsaccolimited.co.ke to become a member today and take control of your financial future. IG Sacco, our investment, our growth.
It's Friday and things are looking a bit boring. Fanta. Submit to the fizziest of fizz. Surrender to a bubbly bliss. Fall for the tangiest of tangs. Succumb to the flavor frenzy. Fanta. Indulge with a sip and snack.
With a promo code and get a welcome bonus. 1xBet.
Who is a true partner? They go out of their way to help you. They do not hesitate to go the extra mile. And they're always there standing beside you. They step in when you need them the most. Because a true partner is a partner for ground. KCB Bank.
The moment I feel my pain starting to fade, it's like I'm going back to myself on a really good day.
Panadol Extra releases you from strong pain. Panadol, release starts here.
Haya! Umesikia kwenye *570# kashake kameiva. Shamba ni mili na zinangoja ushindi wako kwa Lucky Game. Na hii Aprili mshindi wa kwanza anavuka na shamba lake, na Mei tunamtangaza the grand winner wa shamba na lori ya mawe. Ni rahisi kwenye *570#. Kila shilingi 100 unaocheza nayo inakupa 1 entry point ya draw zote za shamba pekee na shamba na mawe. Vuka na shake. Anza ujenzi kwenye *570#.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's now talk of hope and determination. We bring you the story of 41-year-old Fabian Kaburu from Meru County. Kaburu is a biology and chemistry teacher, but that's not all. He's a teacher by day and a guard by night. Fabian Kaburu says hurdles of life, including financial difficulties, forced him to stay away from school for 14 years. Well, he's now a qualified teacher, but still enjoys his security job. Kevin Mutai has that story.
Fabian Kaburu is a chemistry and biology teacher at St. Pius X Minor Seminary in Meru County, and his story defines a journey of going from grass to grace.
Especially those who have dropped out of school.
He dropped out of secondary school in 2002 while in Form 2 due to financial constraints, a choice driven by the desire to support his parents in taking care of his other siblings. The decision would then send him to the capital, Nairobi, to look for a job. He was employed in a farm, but his salary wasn't enough to cater for his family, and the desire for a better job sent him back to school.
I decided I'll go back to school and complete my secondary education. So I went, the following day I went to another school known as Muradhankari Multipurpose. It is like an adult school. You go there and then you stand like 2 years. And then from there you do your KCSE.
He sat for his Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, KCSE, in 2016 and scored a B- of 59 points. His resilience had finally paid off. But it was not yet over. He had to secure another job, this time a security guard, in order to get the money to enroll himself to a university. He says his ambition was to study criminology and security for his higher education in order to advance his skills in the field.
My friends told me, Fabian, you have been a very good reader and you have done well in mathematics and sciences. You can be a very good teacher. Of course, I went home and decided, yes, Fabian, you can make a very good teacher. So I decided, yes, I'm going to be a teacher.
He then joined Meru University of Science and Technology, where he pursued a degree in education science, and in May 2022, he graduated with a second upper class degree.
By the time I graduated, my friend, nilikuwa na mandeni mingi sana. So I asked myself, because now I've graduated and I've started looking for, a teaching job. Here, I have so many debts I have to pay. If at all I have managed to stand for those 8 good years, I can still continue working as a guard and still teach. Because in fact, it is not all that demanding, so that I can be able to settle these debts.
He still dons his security uniforms with pride, recalling the far he has made it. He is now a motivational speaker, encouraging both the less fortunate in society and the school dropouts with ambitions to still advance their studies, motivating them to never give up in life.
My passion is teaching, but still I love the uniform, the security guard uniform, because the security guard uniform is what has made me to be where I am today.
Fabian remembers the hardships he faced, including being denied a job several times for being associated with a watchman. He says he at one time became a ridicule in society.
Unakuta watu wakifika pale kazini wanakudharau kwa sababu ile kazi ambayo unafanya na unasikia wanatoa majina machafu pale.
But he found his anchor in the students, the administration, parents, and family members who supported his passion for teaching.
Achievement ya kwanza ni kuraise miniscore ya chemistry kutoka mahali ilikuwa 3.1 mpaka saa hii tuko 5.3. That's one of the major achievement ambayo nimeweza kuachieve. Tena nikiwa H&D End of Science Department, nimeweza kufanya mwaka wa 2022 na mwaka wa 2023 H&D or the Science Department to be the best in this school.
The 41-year-old says he is still on course seeking to achieve other goals, including being employed by the government through the Teacher Service Commission.
So don't lose hope. Just if you are given an opportunity, work with respect, do that work diligently. I always say, God's time is the best.
he is still servicing a loan he took for his university education, blending his two occupations of working day and night to help pay the loan and make ends meet. Kevin Mutai, NTV.
What a great story. From that, though, it's time to shift focus. We take another break, but Nina's here with us. She's got the day's business lined up. Nina, what can we expect?
Now, we will be telling you how much the government is looking to collect through the social health insurance on NTV Business.
Welcome to the Delight Nakuru, brought to you by Username Investments. Perfect for your dream home, investment for holiday home, going only for 799,000 shillings for 1/8 of an acre. SMS Nakuru to 20321 or call 0725 000 222.
Sign up with a promo code and get a welcome bonus. 1xBet.
Sí, ¿vos de qué parte sos? Yo de aquí. Ah, mira. ¿Tú de qué parte eres? Del norte.
New Nivea Luminous visibly reduces dark spots. Does it really work? Trust me. For post-acne marks too? Of course! World's #1 anti-spot expert serum, now for post-acne dark marks and age spots. Visible results in just 2 weeks. That means also for my age spots. Already worked for over 1 million women. Nivea Luminous 630. It works.
Join the Optivan family today and experience the epitome of coastal living at Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo by Optivan, just 2.4 kilometers from Mombasa Malindi Road and a mere 4.5 kilometers from the shoreline. For every 400,000 Kenya shillings that you place as a deposit or installment towards any of Optivan's properties, you receive a cashback of 4,000 Kenya shillings to top up for your back-to-school shopping. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Haya, umesikia kwenye star 570 hash kashake kameiva. Shamba ni mili na zinangoja ushindi wako kwa Lucky Game. Na hii Aprili mshindi wa kwanza anavuka na shamba lake, na Mei tunamtangaza the grand winner wa shamba na lori ya mawe. Ni rahisi, kwenye star 570 hash kila shilingi 100 unaocheza nayo inakupa 1 entry point ya draw zote za shamba pekee na shamba na mawe. Vuka na shake, anza ujenzi kwenye star 570 hash.
A very good evening to you. I do trust that your night is treating you well. It's time to take a look at the business news. And my name is Nina Shaban. Now, the government targets to collect 133 billion shillings from Kenyans every year to fund the health plan that is modeled on compulsory monthly contributions. Now, the Ministry of Health has made the disclosures days after the Court of Appeal lifted the High Court order that had stopped the implementation of the Social Health Insurance General Regulations 2023 that seek to deduct 2.75% of gross monthly income from all registered members. Now, the collections will make Social Health Insurance Fund, that's SHIF, the entity that is replacing replacing the 57-year-old National Health Insurance Fund, that's NHIF, and one of the most cash-rich state bodies in the country after the government dropped the initial plan to cap contributions at a maximum of 5,000 shillings. Now, the 133 billion shillings will mark a more than doubling of the insurance premiums that NHIF has been collecting annually. And NHIF in the financial year ended June 2022 collected just about 78.84 billion under the current plan of 150 to 1,700 for salaried workers and 500 for self-employed. Now, the Ministry of Health regulatory impact on the draft regulations shows that government estimates to get 56 billion from the informal sector, being nearly 10 times from the current average of 5.5 billion shillings. All right. Some good news for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises as Treasury has revealed plans to set up a company in partnership with financial institutions to de-risk lending to small traders, including those who graduate from Ruto's Hustler Fund to borrowing from commercial banks. The proposed Kenya Credit Guarantee Scheme company will guarantee a share of the loans commercial banks will advance to cash-strapped micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, and the joint venture between the government and private sector is expected to unlock higher value loans to individuals and groups whose financial needs will grow beyond the limits provided by the Hustler Fund, President William Ruto's flagship financial inclusion program.
Also mentioned the role the fund will play.
In other news, money sent home by Kenyans living abroad continued on a growth trajectory to hit a record of 671 billion shillings. This is in 2023, significantly boosting the country's current account balance amidst falling exports revenue. Now, data from the Central Bank of Kenya shows that diaspora remittances in the 12 months to December 2023 increased by 4% from 645 billion shillings in 2022. And in its latest country report for Kenya, the International Monetary Fund say that this sustained growth of diaspora remittances along with tourism receipts was crucial in reducing the country's current account deficit last year as earnings from exports reduced. IMF estimates that the country's current account deficit slimmed to 4.1% of gross domestic product in 2023 from 5.2% recorded in 2022, a significant improvement in the tight economic environment characterized by a drop in demand for Kenyan exports in the international markets. Over the medium term, the multilateral lender expects diaspora remittances to continue growing, sustaining the improvement in the country's current account deficit. Locals in Magadi in Kajiado County are calling for an immediate truce between the county government and Tata Chemicals after the county government shut down the Tata Chemicals Magadi plant 5 days ago over alleged non-payment of accrued land taxes amounting to 10 billion shillings. Workers at the plant are worried about their jobs and the town's healthcare amenities as the facility houses the only ambulance with 100 kilometers, or rather within 100 kilometers of the location, and the company also supplies at least 1.5 million liters of treated water on a daily basis to villagers for free through the company's pipeline systems. The town is also set to lose local community empowerment initiatives sponsored by the company, and locals now fear that the closure will upset the balance brought upon the community by the company and make their lives significantly harder, as the plant has had a highly symbiotic relationship with the local community over the 113 years.
Sijui ni nani anaumia kwa sababu kaunti iko huko Kajiado. Kuna group ranges, the human concern ambayo wanaishi pamoja na hii kampuni, ambayo tegemeo lao ni hii kampuni. So ukisema utadisturb kampuni hii, inamaanisha ya kwamba una disturb community.
This place will be unlivable because you don't have any other sources of water, so the company has had to invest in the pipeline way back in the 1950s and even before that, and there are various watering points before even the water reaches here, and including farms. So where it would have been probably hell on earth.
Without the support and blessings of the community, we cannot exist here. That is very clear in our heads. But also we'd like to believe that we support the community in a big way, and they look forward to our support. So it's difficult for us to think of the community if we are not there.
All right, so that's it for business news tonight. My name is Nina Shaban, but as we take a break, coming up.
It's against the law not to take children to school.
All learners must be in school fees or not. The government's position and rationale after the break.
Welcome to the Delight Nakuru, brought to you by Username Investments. Perfect for your dream home, investment for holiday home, going only for 799,000 shillings for 1/8 of an acre. SMS Nakuru to 20321 or call 0725 000 222.
There's a kind of bank assurance intermediary that really allows you to relax because you know you'll be good. That's Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary for you. Get covered real good through Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary.
When you're finally released from pain. That moment when you start to get back to ordinary, and ordinary feels amazing. Whatever pain you're going through, release starts here.
Why are you here? You know very well why I'm here. I want evidence to prove that your grandson killed Alberto. But I am telling you now, you will not find anything in here.
Could we talk?
No. No, we have nothing to talk about.
Yes. Well, nice seeing you, though.
It's a shame I cannot say the same thing.
head over heels.
Hello there, it's time for the sports update. Good evening, I'm Bernard Ndong. Outside hitter Pamela Jepkirui and libero player Lindsay Jeruto have been dropped as Malkia Strikers head coach Japheth Munala named the roster for the Africa Games Zone 5 qualifiers that will be held in Egypt. The team of 14 players that has been trimmed from an initial number of 16 boasts of a blend of experience and youthful vigor. Captain Massimo Im leads the Malkia Strikers, who are expected to jet out Tuesday ahead of the games that serve off on the 26th, the 28th of this month. Meanwhile, regular libero Sam Juma and outside hitter Saila Kipruto were dropped as Wafalme Stars head coach Gideon Tarus named his squad for the games. Nicholas Matui, Elfas Makuto and Levi Sogutu are making a comeback to the team after missing the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations that were held in Egypt. The Football Kenya Federation has named Mildred Cheche as the new head coach of the Junior Starlets, the under-17 women's national football team. Mildred will be assisted by Anne Alwoch, who is also a CAF B license holder. Cheche, in addition to her new role, currently serves as the assistant coach for the senior women's national team, the Harambee Starlets, as well as the Rising Starlets. Anne Alwoch also currently holds the position of assistant coach for the under-15 women's national team. Cheche and Alwoch will be in charge of the team that will compete in the FIFA Under-17 World Cup qualifiers. The Junior Starlets will battle the Democratic Republic of Congo on the 4th of February at home and then on the 11th of next month. Egypt must win their fixture against Cape Verde later tonight to revive their hopes of qualifying for the last 16. The Pharaohs, who reached a final in the last edition, will be without their star forward Mohamed Salah, who is recovering from a hamstring injury which forced him off in the first half in their 2-2 draw with Ghana. Let's listen in to what he had to say ahead of that fixture.
It's very tricky and very weird that you see the levels are very close from each other, like the whole teams, you go to the game and you don't know who's going to win. Like you see, like now we are not first in the group, we are not second. So it's really tricky.
And staying with AFCON, Themba Zwane, a 34-year-old, once deemed too old for international football, scored twice. As South Africa trounced Namibia 4-0 on Sunday to get their Africa Cup of Nations campaign back on track. A loss to Mali 5 days ago meant this was a must-win match for Bafana, and they roared into a 3-goal lead by halftime with Zwane netting twice. When Belgian Hugo Broos became coach after Bafana failed to qualify for the last Africa Cup of Nations, he said the team was quote-unquote... That's it in the world of sports.
What is coming up on Sport On tonight, Bernard, before we let you go?
Let me ask a question. Have you ever ridden a horse?
Yes, I have, a long time ago, though. Well,
it's all about equestrian, a very unique version of horse riding. I'll be telling you more about that specific sport. And the guest on our show tonight is a lady who wants and hopefully wants to qualify for the Olympics. All that and much more coming up on Sport On after this break.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Yes, once. It was an interesting experience.
Yeah, that's right. All right, stay tuned. Sport On coming up in just a moment. But that's all on this broadcast. David Agondoa has been our sign language interpreter. I'm Smriti Vidyarthi. Good night. Stay tuned.
This is NTV.
Step up to more fun and get more than you pay for. Upgrade now and get boosted to the next package for free. Dial *423# or call 0711 066 000 and upgrade to the next level for free.
Kenya in 2040, mapping out scenarios. Why this report at this time, and why 2040? We thought that two things would be most important. One of them would be state capacity in general, would determine what Kenya would look like in 2040, and the other would be economic policy choices that government would make. Human capital. Yes. Very critical. The labor market is essential in these scenarios. How do they play into this? One of the things that we actually acknowledge is that among the things that the government of Kenya has shown itself decently capable of delivering a decent education level. I think we cannot stress enough the fact that the choices in terms of state capacity has to go hand in hand with good policy management to give Kenya the best outcomes that are possible in the next generation.
Everyone knows now that the baby I'm expecting is yours. My mother, my siblings, and now even your grandpa. And so if anything happens to me, nobody would hesitate to point their finger at you. So you better come to terms with this and play the happy family with me.
If you really love this woman, I don't have any reason to oppose it. She's already made it clear she thinks about you before herself. But there are no buts, Angela.
Grandpa, that baby probably isn't mine. She is prepared to do any test that we decide on.
Well, then let's wait until we get the results.
Head over heels.
With a promo code and get a welcome bonus. 1xBet.
There's a kind of bank assurance intermediary that really allows you to relax because you know you'll be good. That's Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary for you. Get covered real good through Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary.
Why are you here? You know very well why I'm here. I want evidence to prove that your grandson killed Alberto. But I am telling you now, you will not find anything in here.
Could we talk?
No, we have nothing to talk about.
Yes. Well, nice seeing you though.
It's a shame I cannot say the same thing.
Head over heels.
Get ready to have your mind blown.
It's your girl Shanti Bobo straight out number 9 na niko NTV na nasikia poa manze.
Wow, it's a new chapter. We're bringing you the hottest show in town.
Most lovely platform for our artists and most amazing.
You know charity starts at home.
Again, see what your chat but hatujaboeka.
From exclusive interviews with the biggest names in the game.
Justina Sokao aka Madam 2020. Utapata show pale katika NTV.
Kazi yetu mostly ni kuingia tu studio kufanya muziki na kusubmit.
To a DJ set that will knock your socks off. And snippets from your favorite live performances.
Guys, apologize when you're softy. Nasaka like location to kute so shit.
Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Kwetu Mix every weekday from 5 to 6 p.m. only on NTV.
Buda, unaonaje hii moti? Buda iko fiti mbaya. Lakini si ulisema uwezi nunua dinga before ujenge. Sasa utaipack wapi?
Nitaipack huku tu, nishanunua plot, naanza kujenga.
Wa? Buda, hebu nichanue.
Welcome to the Delight Nakuru, brought to you by Username Investments. Perfect for your dream home, investment for holiday home, going only for 799,000 shillings for 1/8 of an acre. There's borehole water, estate gate, graded access roads, electricity and proximity to modern high-end schools, hospitals and other social amenities. SMS Nakuru to 20321 or call 0725 000 222.
Want to know the biggest story of the week? Do not worry. The Weekly Review got you covered. For in-depth analysis of politics, business, governance, as well as social issues, the Weekly Review covers it all. For well-researched, exclusive and investigative content, read the Weekly Review every Sunday in the Sunday Nation.
NTV, turning on your world.
Hello there and welcome to another edition of Sport On. My name is Bernard Ndong. As always, I'm joined by my co-pilot, James.
Hi, Mr. Bernard. How are you?
Are you surprised as I am? Like, the results that
I love
we're
it.
witnessing in the Africa Cup.
I love it. Finally in love with the AFCON. It's taken me a while
to
get into this competition. Tonight's result, what has just happened, absolutely fantastic. Really good to see the would you call it airy silence or the quiet in that stadium?
I can imagine.
As each goal goes in, and with each goal, Ivory Coast are getting closer to the exit door.
And they're home.
And now they're home. Now luckily they don't have to travel far. Tomorrow morning.
Well, that's the beauty of sport. But now let's focus on other things that happened, of course, over this past weekend. We've given you an idea of what we might also talk about as well in the course of the show. Locally, Gor Mahia, Okabi, it almost feels like a procession in terms of the local league.
Yes, it is a procession, which says a lot about the league. First of all, we've got to give props to them. If you look at the way Gor has played, unbeaten. They're 10 points clear of second place City Stars. They have really dominated. And when you think we are just past the halfway mark, it just makes you wonder, what are the other ones doing? Because let's not kid ourselves. This is not a vintage Kogalo side. It's not. This is not the Kogalo of 14 or 15. No, this is a Kogalo team that even its own fans are not really sure whether they like it or they don't. They really haven't bought into it. A team that only won the league on the last day of the season, last season. But this season, they seem to be doing so well. I think credit to them by being very parsimonious in defense, just the 7 goals conceded. But big question marks about the so-called big teams of Kenyan football. Tusker FC had a terrible start to the season. Remember, their coach had been given an ultimatum the first leg when they played Gor. Good to see they have come back to 5th place, but still, I think they should be doing better. And of course, questions about the teams who I think should be having this fight. Bandari, KCB, Kenya Police. They've got the money. Kenya Police is known as the Man City of Kenyan football. What are they doing with it? How come they are not doing what they are doing? That you've got City Stars and Posta Rangers right at the top, I think says about how well those two teams have performed and maybe just how badly the Tuskers and the Police and Bandari, given the budgets they have and in the current situation, maybe I think they should do better. But all in all, you've got to give props. Kogalo have beaten everything before them. And as it looks, 1.5 hands on the trophy, if you can say that. I think so. I think 1.5 hands on the trophy.
Now, contrastingly, on a different sport, that is the spherical ball. I got it right. Remember last time I tried to remember?
Yes.
Now, let's focus on the oval ball, and that is rugby. It's almost a similar story, but this time round, KCB, Cabras, Queens, Oilers, 4 teams unbeaten. You spoke about football, Gor Mahia unbeaten. When it comes to the local premiership in terms of rugby, it is 4 teams that are unbeaten. But I get the sense that Cabras look the much more strong of the 4.
Too dominant, in my opinion. They are way too dominant for the rest of Kenya Cup. And I feel like, and I said this last season, I said, maybe we need someone to close the gap. They are way too dominant. For you to beat Mwamba 87 years, a record 13 tries, I think it just tells you how far ahead they are of everyone else. Remember last season they won Kenya Cup, then they won the Enterprise Cup when they didn't have a number of their senior players. Right. Just tells you of their strength in depth. I feel you say there are 4 teams unbeaten. I think in another 2-3 weeks there's going to be 2. And in another maybe 2 months there's going to be 1. Yeah, because Oilers will probably lose to either KCB or to Cabras, and then Queens the same way, and then it will be left to between Cabras and KCB who beats the other. So yes, Cabras way ahead of everyone else. I'm happy with KCB because they are rebuilding in a sense. They are, after being so dominant, like they are rebuilding, but they seem to be rebuilding right near the top. So it's really good. Again, I'd want more teams closer to the 2, but I don't think it's going to happen. But it's good to see Nondis showing signs of life.
I think
it's
also
good
Kenya
to see
Harlequins as
Queens
well.
showing some signs of life, being in the top 5, top 6. It's a good thing because, you know, those people who you say are the custodians of the game, you want your Queens, your Impala, your Nondis to do well. And also a word to the university teams, if you've looked at it, they're not doing as badly as they normally do. Normally they are right at the bottom.
Especially Black Blood.
Yeah, Black Blood,
have been very
Strathmore, the Monks, they are putting up a fighting chance, which I think is good because naturally they'd have younger players. Naturally they have players who are still in university. So it tells you the future is not too bad.
Right. Now let's focus on something we touched on at the beginning of the show. That is the Africa Cup of Nations. Okabi, there was a game that was ongoing just before the start of the show. 2 games actually, but I think the focus was on the one that was between the Ivory Coast and Equatorial Guinea. And what are the results? I'm stunned.
Ivory Coast 0, Equatorial Guinea 4.
I left it at 3.
4, it's ended 4-0. Was 1-0 at halftime. Emilio Nsue, who's the top scorer, gave the
gentleman who scored a
team the
hat-trick,
lead. Yes, he's now the top scorer. He scored another one in the second half. It's 4-0, which means the Ivory Coast end on 3 points because they lost to Nigeria and they've lost to Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea, of course, they won their first game and then they've won today. So it's between them and Nigeria. Nigeria found a way past Guinea-Bissau. They wasted chance after chance after chance. A few offside goals ruled out. In the end, an own goal has made them squeak through. But the story, of course, is the Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast 0, Equatorial Guinea 4. That is not a result you'd think of, you'd countenance, that you'd sit and think, this is good at home. But it looks exactly what happened 40 years ago.
Yes, that's what I was thinking about.
1984, they started well, they won the first game.
40 years was 1984, just tells you how old we are.
Yes, yeah.
You know, for some of us, we keep thinking when you say 30 years ago, you think 1974.
I'm sorry, Bernard, it's 40 years ago. So 40 years ago, they beat Togo in the first game, then lost to Egypt and lost to Cameroon. History has repeated itself. And if this was the year 2000, when the Ivory Coast again crashed out at the group stages, and the then president took the team to a 10-day military camp to learn about patriotism, I feel like tonight, if you ask the Ivorian fans, they will be feeling something close. But yes, it's a big result that they've crashed out.
Now, the images on your screen right now, you can see a team training there. Now, that is Cape Verde. Cape Verde is one of the teams that has already qualified for the last 16 Okabi. I'm not surprised that they've been performing there. They have. Senegal as well have qualified. So those are the 2 teams officially who have qualified for the round of 16.
Yes, the Lions of Teranga, defending champions, they have looked like defending champions should. The pedigree has shown. But for Cape Verde, when you see them this way, and every time I see them, this is a country of how many people? Less than 1 million people. And they are able to go this far at the AFCON. It always takes me back to when Kenya first played them. Because until 2002, I didn't know about a country called Cape Verde. Then we played them in the AFCON, beat them home and away. And then, like you said, 2002, that's 22 years later. Look at them. They're in the last 16. We have watched the whole of it from home. It just tells you what you can achieve if you work hard, if you prepare properly, and if you make plans.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a bit of foresight and a bit of...
At least 2027, we are sure we are competing.
That is if we can build stadiums. That's all. If we get 2 good stadiums, either we renovate Kasarani really well and Nyayo, or we build the Talanta Hela one we want to build at Jamhuri, then we shall host the AFCON. We shall be there. Hopefully, we don't go like the Ivory Coast has gone.
Right, and based on the African Cup of Nations, that forms the basis of our question on the show. And you're simply asking a very simple question. Perhaps maybe that last fixture, that match that has just concluded, could be one of your favorite moments. But we're asking you, we want you to share your sentiments. What has been your favorite moment at the African Cup of Nations so far? Please use the hashtag SportOn. Tag myself at Bernard Ndong, tag at JWakabi, tag at NTV Kenya. That will enable us to track your sentiments, and we'll sample them during this live broadcast. Now, we're going to be focusing on a very unique, special sport. I want to use the word special because, Okabi, first of all, I'll ask you a question. When's the last time you ever rode a horse?
I've never ridden a horse, my guy. I'm from the village. What do you mean ride a horse? Where I come from, animals give us milk and meat and eggs. End of story.
That's it.
Yes, you only mix with animals when you're feeding or you're getting something away from them. They are not a pastime. And now I know I'm not a dog person, I'm not a cat person. Because of that mantra, in my head, animals are for production. Yes, so I've never ridden a horse.
Well, somebody who's been riding the horse since I think she was, 5 years old, much earlier, is Muthoni Kimani. Is it an equestrian athlete or is it a show jumper? Which one is used more?
Both.
Both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're joined by your mom as well. Mom, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Well, then I think the first question I want to ask is why show jumping? Why did you take that specific direction in terms of riding a horse? You said, because there's different versions of horse riding. There's competitive horse riding, there's polo, but you decided to take show jumping.
I've loved it since I was young. I just caught on to it from the age of 7. I just loved it for my first pony. Yeah.
How was it for you the first time? Like, because I know it was you rode the horse. You saw somebody with a horse and you felt like, let me try it out. Look something interesting. You're taken. And how was it the first time? Because I sat on a horse for the first time, and I'm telling you, I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I was so uncomfortable because if it bolts, there are no brakes. There's no brakes. There's no.
Yeah.
You can't pull the ears or something.
Yeah.
How was it for you the first time you rode a horse? Because you were that was quite young, 7 years old.
I think all the feelings I could feel were just passion and love for that animal. I just wanted to do it. And at that moment, all I thought was, wow, I mean, this is what I want to do. I didn't know, I mean, for the rest of my life, but I thought, as long as I could do it, I just wanted to do it. I loved it.
Mama Sonny, when you're told she likes horses, she wants to go into horse riding, what's your first instinct? What's your first reaction? Because it's, I'm thinking it's not your everyday sport that your child jumps onto.
Yes, I guess it's been a journey.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time she said she wants to do that, and I thought, okay, so which direction do we go? I don't ride, so I'm grateful to the mummies at the school and the ones who had children who are riding are the ones who held my hand and just told me this is the way we go, this is how you choose a pony, and that's how we did it.
Yeah, I tried to read quite a bit to figure out what happens because, let's be honest, like I said, me and animals, strange bedfellows, Kenyans and equestrian, again, it's something the only horse we know is golf course and the racing at race course. That's the only thing we know. So how, just the journey of you learning, this is what I want to do this, and I want to do show jumping, and you getting into a school. At all that time, what are you thinking? Or are you just following your passion? Is there something that is driving you, or what is just moving you that way?
Truly, it's just following my passion, but I've also always wanted to compete for Kenya. I mean, ever since I was young, I just remember sticking the Kenyan flag on everything, all my riding gear, and just thinking one day how I want to compete in the Olympics. So that's what drives me every single day.
And then early on, you get into a tiny accident. Let me tell you, I actually had to go to know what hacking means. So you get into that. How hard was the recovery? How hard was it for you to say, this has happened, but it will not stop me?
Well, it wasn't easy in the beginning. Firstly, mentally, it really drained me to get back into the saddle. But as I continued working on my mental health and I mean, for me, I've never been afraid of horses, but after that fall, I got paralyzed with fear.
Yeah.
But it took time, and I got there.
Mom, how did you feel at that particular time?
Oh, that one was a hard one because she just couldn't get on a horse. Every time she looked at a horse, she was crying. And I mean, I was just seated, and then a pop-up came on my Facebook, and it said, Noel Floyd, mental coach. I mean, during those times, there was no mental coach. Like right now, I mean, mental illness and all that is a topic in sports.
Yeah.
So I go like, okay, what does this lady do? And she's an American. And you could get online lessons. So I asked Muthoni, are you up for it? And she wasn't sure. And I said, let's give it a try. There was free trial, 7 days.
How old was she then?
She was...
I was 14.
Yeah,
14.
14. Yeah, and we did that free trial for a week, and she liked it. And I paid for the full course, and that is what changed everything. It was amazing. I mean, I must say mental coaching in sports is big because it all starts mentally. Yeah. If you're not mentally ready to do it, then your body won't move. It's like paralyzed. Yeah.
How did it help you to get someone who's able to get through to you mentally and be able to guide you back to regaining the confidence to get back on a horse?
For me, I'd never heard of it in the past. It was a first to do mental coaching, but to also be inspired by other riders who had gone through other injuries and falls and had gotten back through, going through fear and everything. It just helped to know that I'm not alone.
Do you still do the mental coaching? Do you still have a coach who guides you? Is it still Noel, or have you since then added on to your team?
Of course, I have a coach at the academy who's incredible. Aside from that, even when I'm here, I have a mental coach. It's a good thing to always keep working on.
What kind of things do you guys talk about? Like, how is the lesson like? If you can just give us an example, the kind of things you guys talk about just to build your psyche and to build your confidence.
We would do mostly visualization, especially when you're going to do bigger jumps and you are afraid. You have to first think of it before you do it. Think of all the fears and feel them in your body. And then when you actually get there in the present moment, they're not as bad. And you just get on with it.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because I've heard from other horse riders in different versions of horse riding, and they say that the horse can sense when you're nervous, when you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Is that the same for you when it comes to show jumping? And how can you tell that a horse is nervous?
Well, the horses don't normally get as nervous as the riders, I would say, but they help us and they guide us through it. Yeah.
Do they like sense, because I remember once when I was at a stable and I was told that you have to be quiet, you can't make a lot of noise. Like there's a routine to be able to be in sync with your horse.
Yeah, they are very sensitive animals. They pick up emotions very easily from you, even emotions which you think you're not feeling yourself, but really you are.
Yeah.
Horses pick it up very easily. Yeah.
So how do you cultivate that trust? I don't know. It's
trust and relationship.
And relationship. How do you because I know you use more than one horses in an event, right?
Sometimes I prefer to use one.
You use one.
I use one at the moment. Yeah.
So how do you your current horse? What's the name? Do you have a name for it?
Hip hop.
Hip hop. Yeah. So I'll digress. The time we were trying to come up with names for a horse, if Wakabi was to have one. So I told him to choose a color and his favorite meal. What was the name of your horse, Wakabi?
My horse is blue chapati. It's blue and chapati.
So we were just trying to anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. So for your horse, how did you cultivate that trust, and how long have you had him or her?
Her.
Okay.
A while, because she's a chestnut mare, and chestnut mares are known to be very high-strung, more sensitive than geldings and other colored horses. I'm not really sure as to why, but that's just the reason. It took a while, I must say, to get her trust. In the beginning, she kind of wanted to move away from me, but finally we got there.
Is it with the number of sessions that you spend with her? Are there other things that you do over and above just the conventional now equestrian?
Spending time with her in the stable, grazing her, grooming her. It comes together in the arena. You can't just hop onto a horse and then go straight riding. You have to spend time with them so you can bond. Yeah.
What goes into choosing a horse? Like when you're selecting, choosing sounds wrong. When you're selecting, what are the things you look out for? So for you to decide this is the one?
It depends on a lot. Conformation, it depends on the breed of the horse and the discipline, if you're doing show jumping, dressage, or eventing. But I would also say the temperament of the horse. And honestly, I think it's the horse chooses you and you choose the horse.
I saw you say somewhere that they speak to you, horses speak to you. What do you mean? Can you put it in words? Is it a feeling you get? Is it a sense you get? Is it a movement it makes?
It's all in one, I would say. It's almost as if it's like a sixth sense within me or within anyone I feel who has a strong bond with a horse. It's something I can't really describe, as if they're talking to you on another level and you just automatically know what they need at that moment. It comes into your mind as a photo or as a picture. It's quite strange, but maybe it's like a...
it's like a language between the two of you.
Yeah.
So, Mom, when this is happening, you're like outside looking in. So how are you part of it? Because I mean, they have a language they speak, they have a temperament they have with each other, they know how they select each other. So you are literally on the outside looking in, aren't you?
Yes, yes, I'm on the outside supporting and watching. I mean, I do get scared sometimes, especially when she's doing the bigger jumps. But then I see, I mean, when I see her with her horse, you know, she will spend half the morning, then she doesn't even realize it's lunchtime. Then I just see how passionate she is around the horse. And it just, then you know, then she has a gift. And I just have to support her.
I can tell the passion from you, how you want to support your daughter. And also one of the ways you've supported her, obviously, is financially and even trying to be able to help her get the best level of expertise from the best. Help us just get an idea of how she went to the academy in Italy. I'll try and pronounce it correctly. Cavalleria Toscana.
Yes.
I got it correct?
Yes.
So just help us understand how she went to Italy and how that came about.
Yeah, she always wanted, she knew that she wanted to go and compete for Kenya. Basically, and I said, okay, how do you want to do it? Because I don't want you to go and be a working student. I want you to do it. If you know this is what you want to do for life, do it and study it and do it the right way. Yeah, and I mean, of course, we knew there was the Young Riders Academy, which is in Germany, and she tried to apply that 2 years in a row she did, and still she hadn't been selected. And then she came and told me, I've seen this Cavalleria Toscano, let me give it a try, let me send all the videos. And then the next thing, she had an interview, and then she was selected. I mean, it was very emotional. Here it is, not that I have been working towards it or thinking about it, and here we are, it's February, Mom, we need to leave in May, and then it starts June 1st. Okay, calm down. What do we need to do first? Where do we go? And so, I don't know, I must say it's God, because I just, at that moment in time, I just got the courage. I can't tell you. It's been support from family, from people that we haven't met, friends, and I wouldn't have done this alone. Yeah, and then off I go to a new country. I don't speak Italian.
So you went with her, obviously?
Yes, definitely, because she can drive, number one. Then competitions are in all these nice places, but there are no trains, and there are no, you can't just walk into a competition. You have to drive there, and don't go there. That's
no,
left hand.
It's actually
left hand.
It's actually very interesting, because just how much drive and belief do you have to have in your daughter to stop everything in Nairobi?
Yes.
And shift to Italy.
Yes.
Just what's driving you? Like, how much faith do you have to have in Muthoni?
You must have faith in God only God, because the strength, I don't know where I picked up that courage from, because I think God has been seeing what He wants to do. Yeah. And then off we just went. We knew nobody in Italy, nobody. We landed at the airport, here you are, we have to hire her, and then we have to drive to the stables, and everyone else at the stables have got horses like no other. Not one like we do.
Yes.
These are families that do horses as their businesses. So they've got the horse trucks, which carry 4 or 5, and that's where the horse trucks have got their bedrooms, their toilets, and here we are from Kenya. 2 of us.
Where is your horse at this point in time?
At this point in time, the academy, when they selected her, they said, now they also scratched their heads. This is new, we've never done this. Everyone else is from Europe or America. So how do we start? First of all the students come in with their horses from wherever they are, from home.
They ship them in?
No, they come in with their horse trucks. Yes, it's packed.
I can visualize it.
So
now Hash is coming from Kenya, East Africa.
Yes.
So we need to make a plan for the horse.
Yes. So and she's very good at what she wants, and she knows what she wants and how she wants it. And already she had communicated, and she said, "I want the best horse." Okay, I have no idea. And we walk in, and there it is. They got the best horse for her. And we walk in, and it's right there waiting. And also, they haven't met her before. They haven't met us. And this is why she says the horse chooses you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was right there, and they bonded immediately. Yeah.
Is that the current horse?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How was it? Like, I'm just trying to understand, because there's a lot happening in a span of, how long was it? How long were you there for? Like, from the initial arrival? How long was it?
We had 3 months to do all that and go.
So what, when you arrived in Italy, how long did you stay then now?
No.
You've been there? No?
We arrived today and tomorrow we go to the stables.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no...
Yeah. So how's the culture shock for you? How was it, you're interacting with people who have, you said the horse has a bedroom.
Yeah.
How was that? How was it for you at that particular point in time? How did it feel? Were you a bit...
Yeah, I was taken back. I really was taken back. I think the first thing I thought was, wow, everything is so big. The horses were massive. Compared to how the horses here in Kenya, they were just everything from their hooves to their necks to, and then their way of training, it took me back to another level. I was amazed, absolutely amazed. Yeah.
It's
very different from
I know.
Kenya.
I mean, when people talk about culture shock, I can actually draw it.
Yes.
Because we landed there, it was different. Everything is different. How they work on their horses. I mean, she doesn't get to groom her horses because this is how they do it. In the academy, the students get to go in there and then there's someone doing all the grooming and taking care of your horse, but then sometimes they, of course, do it. But when I was watching even how they were doing the shoeing, it's amazing.
And I'm assuming this is on a whole different level. She spoke about several types of horses. So I'm thinking this is that multiplied by 1,000.
Yes.
Like everything you are seeing, and they are of different everything, whether it's cost, whether it's ability, because everything is multiplied by X.
Yeah, and I can tell you, it's different. Even she had to be worked on by an osteopath because the academy has a team of an osteopath, the mental coach, the physiotherapist. It's a whole team that surrounds the students.
Just explain for viewers what an osteopath is in this context.
Now she's...
Well, they work on aligning your spine. Apparently, I was very off. When I arrived, yes, I was sitting completely crooked in the saddle. And I had to have a few sessions with the osteopath, yeah. And
so like, you said your posture was wrong, so what did they ensure you did different? Like, maybe show us like how you used to sit before and then now what they told you to do.
Oh, wow. I can't really explain. My hip was like off completely. Okay. It was just completely unbalanced. So I was sitting like this
so you were favoring
on the
one
horse.
Side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one leg was automatically longer. I would make the stirrups longer on one leg than the other. So I never noticed that until I got the session and everything just changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll continue with the discussion. Okay. I just want to take a look at the feedback that you've been sharing regarding the question we'd asked you in relation to the Africa Cup of Nations. We asked you what's your favorite moment. This is what Colin Sims says. Seeing Sadio Mane score, that's everything I enjoy. Wakabi?
Yeah, he's living a bit in the past. Sadio Mane is yesterday. But I understand, yes, Sadio Mane scored a good goal versus Cameroon. Rehema Miriam, Chipolopolo's last-minute goal yesterday, and Mohamed Kudus' 2 goals when Ghana played Egypt. For some reason, Kenyans enjoy Tanzania's pain. For some reason. So I understand it, but yes, Kudus was fantastic when Ghana played Egypt.
Rehema Miriam says Chipolopolo's last-minute goal, and I think it's that one. It's the same one,
the one, yes.
Okay. So let's have a look at another one here, and this is MC Bouquet Senior. You say the match between Mauritania versus Angola. I agree, that was a game and a half.
Yep.
Very interesting, thrilling and exciting, and it was a goal fest. I love the game as well.
Yeah, 5 goals, 5-goal thriller.
Yeah, 5-goal thriller. And one last one here before we take a break.
The agility of the Zambian squad scoring an equalizer with 1 man down. Again, Tanzanian pain. Patson Daka, I think, with a goal, which means Tanzania also on the runway.
The runway.
Yeah, on the runway.
The engine is being warmed.
Yes.
Well, it's time for us to take a very short break. Sport On continues after this.
Why are you here? You know very well why I'm here. I want evidence to prove that your grandson killed Alberto. But I am telling you now, you will not find anything in here.
Could we talk?
No. No, we have nothing to talk about.
Yes. Well, nice seeing you, though.
It's a shame I cannot say the same thing.
Head over heels.
We are asking the one question: is there a place for young people in agriculture?
They are used to unload dirty and hopeless person as a farmer. But I believe as the young people of Africa, we are the one who are going to change this story.
We have built a farmers network of around 100 acres up to now, of which we sell the onions to the Nairobi market, and we're looking forward to doing more in the onion value chain.
At the moment, agriculture is not considered very attractive for the young people. We need to make it much more attractive than ever before. There are opportunities to do that, especially in terms of mechanization.
The youth would find what to do in the processes in agriculture, in the processing, in the distribution, in technology there, and the innovations that are possible in agriculture.
Pata taarifa teke teke na e-paper. Stay in the know on the go. Getting the full story bilangori. To sign up, choose your preferred subscription. Use the promo code SUBZ22 to get 20% off and pay. Get your favorite newspaper and enjoy the truth anywhere, anytime. For inquiries, email epaper@ke.nationmedia.com or call 0790 111 111. Subscribe today and get your taarifa teke teke.
On Go Entertainment this new year on Go TV. Bila kulipia extra. Furahia the best sports, international shows, na local shows una like free. Download Go TV Stream. Go TV. Love it.
Welcome back to Sport On a night in which you are learning quite a bit about show jumping. Now, before the break, you were talking to Muthoni's mom, and I'd like to continue this conversation, mom, because when I see you, I think Richard Williams. I think Tiger Woods' dad. I think Lewis Hamilton's dad. Like parents who have had to sacrifice, to put aside literally their lives to support their child. Yeah. That doesn't happen often in Africa. In Africa, if you say you want anything that is not books, we are told no, you go to books. So for you to be able to do that, and you're still doing it, yes. Where is that dedication coming from?
This dedication, I think, came from when she was very young, because she had her ponies when she was 7. That's the first time we bought the pony, and then the second one, I guess, when she was 9, and we continued on. And we had them at our house, so we always did it. So I could see every morning before even she dresses up for school, she would first go and mark out for her ponies and then ride a little bit, and then quickly get to go to school. So I knew that when she decided this is what she wants, then these are sacrifices that I have to make. And when you look at all the famous sports people, they have gotten the support from the parents, because it's just something about a child. If the parents say yes, then you even also have the courage, the faith to do what you want to do, because you know you have backup. Yeah, but if you just let them go and do it, then they kind of get paralyzed and stranded. And
for the last year and a half, you've lived in Italy. Yes. You literally, you come to Nairobi like now. Like, how is that switch been like? Oh. What do you do when she's riding? Like, you have to get, she's at the academy. So what do you do? How different have you had to change and switch up things?
Yes, I had a career before that, so I had to switch. Now I'm her manager, her photographer, her driver, her everything. Because, I mean, we drive 4 or 5 hours to competitions all in Italy, and it's not easy. If you've driven in Kenya, you can drive anywhere. So Italy is something else altogether. But then now I'm there taking her pictures so that she can see where am I going wrong, well, what was the lesson like. I'm here talking to the instructors. The trainers are very good. So we are speaking to know what does the horse need, what else do we need to do. And then, of course, I'm managing her because there's normal life. There's house calls to be done and food and everything else. So this is why I just left my life here, and that's what I do.
Doni, you also had to learn the language to some extent.
Yes.
How easy or difficult was it for you? Because this is a lot. You're just moving to another country, you're learning another language, you're refining your show jumping skills.
Yeah.
How do you schedule yourself? Do you have classes for Italian, classes for show jumping? Just give us an idea of your typical day in Italy.
Well, it's actually quite incredible because before we left to Italy, I would play Italian songs in the car all the time. So automatically when we got there, it wasn't too hard to learn the language. Yeah. In
terms of like, do you have Italian classes? Or how do you learn the language? Or you learn it on the go?
I learn it on the go because everyone at the stable speaks Italian, and the staff all speak to me in Italian. So it just works. So it works. They do this thing where they speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
That, I mean, they don't speak English.
Yes.
So you need them to give you something for the horse, and she needs to get on the horse. So she speaks kind of in English, so they're happy to learn English. Then she's happy to learn Italian.
What I'm asking is because, you see, this is a very specialist sport. So, for example, you want to say a horse shooting has an issue, or you want to, the stirrups. So what is the vocabulary in Italian? So, like, that's why I was trying to understand how difficult that is.
Yeah, no, I was grilled kind of in the beginning by the staff, and they were like, you have to learn this and this and this, and I was like, okay.
So horse is called what in Italian?
Cavallo.
Cavallo.
Yeah.
And then the saddle?
Oh my goodness.
That's okay. Okay, what do you remember? Like certain item that you use, like
the sotto cell.
That is a what?
I think that's the nomina.
That is a what?
The nomina, which is like the blanket underneath.
Okay. Okay.
My goodness, I'm not very good at this. They wouldn't be very happy.
On a normal day in the academy, what's your day like? From when you get up to in the evening?
Well, it's quite busy. I start with going for a run mostly, and then I would come back and have breakfast. Then I would head off to the stables all the way till lunchtime. So I would feed the horses, and then after I would go for my own lunch, and I would be back at the stables at around 3 to give my horse a hand walk to stretch the muscles, and then put the blanket on, and then I'm gone back to the house. Yeah.
That's pretty much the routine day in, day out until there's competition.
Yes.
So when do you get to be a normal 20-year-old girl? Do you ever get that? Have you been a normal been a normal child anyway, because you started this when you are what, 6, 7?
Yeah.
Do you ever get to be normal, so to speak?
I mean, I've never really been the type of person, to be honest, to go out all the time. So I've just always enjoyed being with my horses. I mean, I see my friends and we go for lunch, but I'm not really a going out person. Yeah.
Ma'am, I'm sure this is something obviously you look at as well, because as much as, yes, she's focused on this, that's also another important component in her life.
Yeah, like this being a career. Yeah.
Outside now, the career part, like she's 20 years old, socializing as well, because it's also not all sport all the time.
Yeah, but
because at times when there's off season, for example, when it's off season.
Yes, when it's off season, then of course we're with family. She loves crocheting. She loves doing that, and she cooks very well. Of course, she cooks. I eat all her yummy food. Very well. Yes, I mean that is her passion, I would say, when she's not riding. But most of the time, I've breezed horses, eaten horses, ever since I can remember. That's all we speak.
Did you say eaten?
Yes, no, like because she speaks it all the time, even when
eat,
they're
sleep,
eating.
drink.
Yes.
That advert for Coca-Cola.
Actually, I've had the.
Yeah, they do. People do eat horses.
Some countries
in places. Yes,
Italy
they do.
eat horses, actually.
Yeah, people do.
Yeah.
People do. It's actually one of the more Yeah, eaten sounds like the wrong word. The more consumed animals towards the top. It's a staple, yes. This is a question that in Kenya we like to run away from it. How expensive is it to do what you've done for a year and a half, Mom? Like, what have you had to sacrifice, like, just to be able to make her dream come true?
To me, you know what I know for sure? Things are put a price tag just to paralyze our minds. If you don't look at a price tag, you can do everything you want in life. I believe you don't go to the supermarket and go like, how much does bread cost or milk? You just go in there and you buy it and then you get out. You don't even think about it. So to me, price tags on things is just a way to paralyze your mind. I've never thought about the price. The passion just makes everything flow because God says, just ask and it shall be given. You receive it. So don't look at the money because you're not going to move. Literally, you'll not eat, you'll not sleep because you're just thinking about how everything costs. Yeah. So that's how we've done it. And that's how we did it from the beginning. We just walked in and we just went along the way because when we asked, we received, and we get friends supporting us, family supporting us continuously, people that we haven't even met because they see how much driven we are to what we want to achieve. So we didn't put money first. That's the key thing. But
it does need sacrifice.
It does need sacrifice. The costs are there, definitely. But when you overlook the costs and you just go in and just do it, it happens.
Mdoni, one of your biggest dreams is to qualify for the Olympics. Help us understand, are you close to this year's Olympics, or that's out of the question because of qualifiers and all that? Or what is your outlook like in terms of making that dream come to reality? Well,
I don't know at the moment, but I feel pretty confident that I can qualify for this Olympics. For this year's Olympics in Paris. How is the pathway? Help us understand the pathway. Like, are there qualifiers? Do you get it? Is it in terms of points? Because I know is there something about stars? You have to be you're 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, until 5 star. Is that in consideration? How does it work for? All 5 stars Grand Prix.
For you to qualify, just give us an idea of the pathway.
5 stars Grand Prix. And, well, at the moment, I think Africa is in Group F with Asia. So that's the qualifications. So that's going to be in Europe. And,
When will this be?
It's going on from now, all the way.
So for example, like your calendar, because I'm sure if you'd want to qualify for the Olympics in July, how is your calendar like? How is your season like? So that now you can be able to have at least an outlook of your pathway.
Well, it's full of training.
Right?
It is really full of training. A new horse, I would say, is the biggest because my horse is incredible, and I'm so grateful to her for everything which she's taught me. But yes, but she is in a 5-star Grand Prix horse, which is what you do need to qualify for the Olympics.
Mom, how do you get her the 5-star horse? What do you need? How much money do you need to get her that 5-star horse?
No, mostly not how much money we need. We need the sponsors to come through. I must say we are grateful that Nike are coming through for her.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, it's huge. It's big news. I mean, Nike will make the first ever equestrian riding boot. And it will be, I'll be the one who will ride in it.
Congratulations.
Absolutely, well done. Now, that's the way to go. So that's one step towards the Olympics.
Yes, I've been watching them designing the shoe. I had no idea that actually it's quite a job to design a shoe. They started last year in May, and they've been working with a team in Oregon. And they've been designing the shoe, and she's been helping for them to figure out, I mean, how's the fitting, and so the shoe will be her name, her logo. So that's what she'll be riding with, and it's the Nike boot.
So that's you in your manager hat now. It's you there making sure the conversations are going right and that
I was actually, I was stunned at how she's gifted at designing. So
Yes.
I was watching as they're all speaking and talking about it, and she's designing. I can't wait to see, and I mean, you're all going to see it when she starts competing in the shoe very soon. So this is the, I mean, it's also a way to open to other companies to come through and sponsor her. I mean, the group that, we do need the Grand Prix horse.
Let's talk about the award you won, against all odds. I mean, it's a wonderful recognition. I don't know how many people from Africa have ever won it before. Chances are none. What did it mean for you to get recognized, to get that acknowledgement?
It meant a lot. It really did. But it was also a way to inspire the younger generation and every single young boy and girl around Africa. And I guess the whole world also. Just to never stop believing, and even if you have an accident or something, or a hiccup, then you just have to keep going, no matter what.
How did it feel for you, seeing your daughter in front of the world, being appreciated?
I know, we were there when we went, I went with her to Cape Town. I mean, though it was quite a task because we were in between competitions and we had to fly. You know, we looked at our calendar, I mean, and we had flown 4 different countries even before we landed there. So I had to pinch myself. It was overwhelming. Yeah, it was really, really good. And everybody was really looking at her and trying to figure out, how did she get here? How did she do this? I mean, we were already used to it because she's very famous in all the competitions. And you know, when she's wearing the Kenyan hat and everybody just stares and they just want to hear, how did she start riding?
Because they're looking at it, they're thinking, this is not marathon.
Yeah, this is
and this is not rugby, and they are seeing her that way. What does that do for you guys when you have that kind of attention? People are almost like, you guys know about horses. You guys are from Kenya.
Those stereotypes.
Yes.
How does it give you pride that yes, we can do it, or do you at times wonder, guys, it's 2024?
It's amazing how actually it's different, isn't it? Are they not? They are looking at us like, wow, not really questioning.
Yeah.
Because to them, they are wondering, how did you even... One time we went to a competition in Spain and they asked, did you carry your horse from Kenya? So that was quite interesting because how do we travel? And so you try to explain to them and they even want to know about Kenya. Now they want to know about the country, not so much about the horse. First they leave the horses aside. They want us to tell them about Kenya and how so many people want to come to Kenya. So many people.
Muthoni, of course, you're an outlier in this sport. You're one of the few Kenyans who are in show jumping. I know you're still also trying to find your feet as well, but how do you nurture and inspire future show jumpers? Is it something that you have in the back of your mind? Is it something you plan to do once you've established yourself?
Yes, of course, of course. I would love to have my own stable, really, and to help other young girls and boys all around Kenya to build themselves in this beautiful sport. Yeah.
In terms of your horse now, I'm just digressing now because you're here in Kenya. So who's taking care of hip hop? How is she? How do you monitor? How do you do you in constant communication with the team back in Italy?
Well, at the moment we're about to move to France. So the owner of Cavalleria Toscana has very kindly taken care of my horse for me while I'm here.
Why are you moving to France?
The stable is kind of split in two, so they have now one base in
you have to
France.
learn French.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you believe
French.
it?
Yes, I'd forgotten that one. Yes, you have to learn French.
Okay, so what are the timelines for that? Like when do you plan to move now to France?
Straight away.
Straight away. So like after this interview.
No.
I'm joking.
No, straight after this.
No, the horse is already in France.
So basically, so because the stable is splitting, so what's the plan? So you're in the group that moves on to France. Which part of France are you guys going to?
It's going to be right next to Monaco, so Antibes, which is near Cannes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful, and I think I decided to move because
Monaco.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, I love Monaco. I went there for a camp, and it's so spectacular. And I love the whole city, so just to be close to there, it's great. Yeah, and the grazing way of the horses is it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
The pastures are huge.
Okay. So talking about pasture, let me understand. What's the diet? Is it of a show jumping horse? Is it different than for other conventional? I don't know. I'm just, this is a...
I'm really listening to you.
I don't know, do they eat X and this one's eat Y? Is it the same? I'm just asking for a layman, for the Kenyan watching.
No. Well, okay. It depends on the horse, really, and depends on the stable also. There's so many different brands of food for the horses. So
what is the basic that is a must-have?
Grass.
Grass. That is the hay. What's the difference?
Yes, that's a hay.
Okay.
And also the green grass, like actually the pasture green grass.
Okay. So what can be at least when you talk about animals?
Oats is
no, at least there I understand. the hay bit, the grass, the pastures, I get the paddocks, I get. It's just the other side of, because horses look like they're very sensitive. People say cats are really spoiled, but I get the feeling like horses have to be really taken care of. You have to be really, really keen with detail with them.
That's very true. They get colic very easily. Colic is the yeah.
Okay.
With their stomach, they get very. It's just so easy.
One first, unless I'm wrong, horses can't vomit. If I'm not wrong.
No.
They can they vomit?
No, they can't vomit.
Yes, they can't vomit.
They can't vomit. No. Is that a plus or a minus?
I think it's more of a minus. I don't know.
Anyway.
I would say it's both, because it does cause a bit.
Because you can imagine when you're upset, you can't really tell the horse isn't well.
Maybe hence the colic. Maybe hence the colic. So, Mom, you're off to France.
Yes.
I admire your tenacity. Your tenacity and drive.
I actually haven't thought about that because I will think about that after I land. You know how you just pack and you just go?
Yes.
So when I land, then I'll go like, okay, culture shock. I need to learn French. I don't speak French either. So I'd hardly grasped the Italian. Now I have to learn the French.
What about her makes you the proudest?
When I watch her ride, when I watch her compete, and the joy that she has just makes me want to continue doing it. She actually gives me the drive. She gives me the courage.
Muthoni, I mean, your family supports you incredibly.
Truly.
What about her? What's the one thing? Like when you see her like this, like if you are told, come on, you could say something about what she's been to you since birth. How does that make you feel to know that Mommy's got my back 110%?
It's a feeling I can't even describe. Really. I can't describe. She's my best friend. And aside from my mother, she is my best friend. I tell her everything.
You send her memes sometimes.
Well, I tell her everything. Like
there are no even memes.
There are no memes because we always sit down and we just share all the videos together.
Okay.
All the cries, I mean, all the hardships I've seen her go through, that's what we share, actually.
Maybe if I may ask, the hardest time, the hardest bit you've had to take her to navigate her, to help her navigate, the hardest point?
The hardest point was when she was going for her first competition. And I was back here because I had to come back and renew my visa, and she had to go back to the competition with the academy, and I wasn't there. That was the hardest. We spoke, and here she is. She's alone, and everyone else has their parents surrounding them. That was my hardest time, but she did it. She did it.
Because she had all the support.
Mr. Bernard.
She had all the support.
Indeed.
There you've had it.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. We really appreciate it. We wish you all the best in your journey to qualify for the Olympics.
Thank you.
We shift gears briefly and take a look at your sentiments regarding the question we asked you in regards to the Africa Cup of Nations. We've had some very interesting results, some very interesting matches. What do you think about specific moments? And we feel that Mr. Emmanuel Ochieng feels that the spirit of Zambia with the game against Tanzania.
I told you, Kenyans and Taifa Stars. The going word on social media was Jirani.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all about Jirani. And then Dikante Antona says, Morocco versus DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, full of emotions. I agree, the scenes after are really, really bad, which I thought was unfair on our very own ref, Peter Waweru, who was reffing, and he had to deal with all that commotion after, and the stories that have come out of that. Regragui, what he told Chancellor Bemba, the DRC captain, and the stories. Yeah, it's just a lot of things about it in the end that are not nice. Yeah.
Really unfortunate. Now, let's take a look at another sentiment here, and this is Adero Mictom. You say, that's a very interesting name. Mauritania FC versus Angola FC. I agree, that was one of my matches of the weekend against Angola. It was a goal fest as well.
Yes, really good goals. Angola really looked good, and Mauritania, who have, again, another wonderful story, just like Cape Verde, just believing and making a plan and getting to the AFCON. It's one of those things that you sit back and you say, if only Kenya was like, if only.
If only Kenya was brave. Like the brave warriors of Namibia who defeated Tunisia. I think that was a big talking point.
It was a big win. It was a big win. I wonder, though, whether it will count much, given last night they soaked in 4 versus South Africa.
But the thing I like, Wakabi, so far in the Africa Cup of Nations, each and every game has a goal.
Yes, none of the 0-0 ball fest, like at times we get. It's been very open and very good goals. Not just scrappy
very
goals,
creative.
very good goals. So hopefully the spirit can continue. I hope we have an AFCON where there's no 0-0.
Yes.
All the way to the
But
end.
I suspect when it reaches the knockout stages, and of course you'll have to, obviously they'll be decided by penalties, but yeah.
People become cagey.
Yes.
Let's wait and see. But for now, let's enjoy it while it lasts. I think it's been excellent.
Short of the Weekend is the next segment, and we take a look at a unique moment that was captured by our colleague Chris Omolo from the Nation newspaper. You can just see, this is a Tusker fan, obviously, Wakabi.
Yeah, self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory.
They've lost to Gore. Gore seems to have one over
kichwa.
them, and he just can't believe it's happened. Kogalo beating them, the direct rivals, completing the double over them, one first leg and second leg, and the guy's probably realizing, he meander, like the Kenyans local slang says.
Let's move on and take a look at what you've been talking about. Obviously, the Africa Cup of Nations has been dominating the discussion online. This specific image, Wakabi, I understand why it was trending, because this was a tweet that was shared by the Confederation of African Football. Take a look at this image. This was fantastic. By Simon Msuva, Airborne.
Yes, beautiful picture. Really beautiful picture by them. And then, of course, there was actually just his celebration. Remember, this celebration is really an African celebration, so to speak. Since Babayaro back in Olympics 96,
Babayaro, yes.
Babayaro, Julius Agahoa, Obafemi Martins. It's that one of those celebrations that just sticks by Africans, because we are known for being athletic. We are known for being able to do things.
I think for me, my two favorite celebrations, that is one of them. That is good. I think for one is the legend, Roger Miller.
The dance at the corner.
They used to dance at the corner, the corner flag. And then also the goalkeeper for, I think it was the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Kidiaba.
Kidiaba. They used
with
to,
the bounce.
Yeah, the
bounce on his bum.
Yeah, on his bum. That was interesting and unique. Speaking of dancing, this Ivorian fan was just having a time of his life. I wonder where he is right now based on the results that have, of course, we've witnessed. This gentleman removed his shirt and decided he's going all out. I wonder which song was playing in his mind. If you win a medal, would you dance? Or mom will be like, no, you have to be.
Well,
if it's the Grand Prix, maybe.
The Grand Prix, definitely.
You will dance.
I will.
Your manager and your mom has given you the green light to dance.
Yes. Yeah. No, I would not with my shirt off.
No.
Obviously. Yeah. Obviously. Let's take a look at another interesting. Let's move on and take a look at another sentiment here. Now, this is an unfortunate one. Of course, this is something that has cropped up once again, the issue of racism, Wakabi, in global sport. And this one specifically in the Italian Serie A. AC Milan, they were playing a game, and Mike Maignan, I think he's French, yeah?
Yes.
They were playing against Udinese. He claimed that there are certain chants that were being made in the crowd.
Yes, he got racist chants and he walked off. He said, I'm off. And the players walked off with him. So they were like, you know what, this is bad, it's happening. And they walked off with him. And the irony of it is, the Udinese goalkeeper is black. He's from Nigeria.
Yeah.
So when you look at the Udinese list, it's got 4 black players. So it makes me wonder, how does this thing actually work?
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, how does it work? Is it because it's the opposing team, so you are racist towards,
bizarre.
but yours, you are not? I just don't get it.
But let me ask you, and I know it's a topic that obviously comes up a lot in the world of sport. Are these issues that you've experienced as well? Because you've seen there, that's a foreigner, an African, or rather a Frenchman, being, of course, experiencing that unfortunate situation. We've seen a lot of other black players. Is it something that has experienced when you're in Italy?
No, I haven't experienced it. Actually, I haven't. Everyone has been so welcoming, and it's been beautiful, I must say.
Okay. The reception has been good.
It has.
Okay. That is good. That is good.
Yeah, that's reassuring.
That's reassuring.
It's good. So something to not have to worry about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take a look at another sentiment here, and this is, we are staying in Italy. I don't know if it's convenient that we are talking about Italy.
Like Mudhoni is based in Italy for the last 1.5 years, and almost everything seems to be Italian-driven.
So, the new man who is taking the reins from Jose Mourinho at AS Roma is Daniel De Rossi. Deserved?
Yes. A legend of the team, played in the team for many years. He's a club legend. They love him there. And this was a move that had issues because the fans not too happy Jose Mourinho has had to leave. They're like, no, we liked him. He should have stayed. But then it's there with Italian. I'm almost tempted to ask Mom whether she knows, she can translate for us what.
Just go back. Let's go back to that.
Allenatore della Roma means.
You're testing your Italian.
I don't know.
Then it says Allenatore della Roma.
Well, della Roma, it's something to do with Rome.
I have no idea what Allenatore means.
Oh my goodness, I don't know either.
We tried.
We tried.
Yeah, we tried.
At least we understand. He replaced Mourinho.
Yes.
That's the key talking point. Let's shift gears and take a look at another sport, and this is rugby. And Maro Itoje played for England rugby national team, and he has an MBA. But I think before we take a look at that one, this is something that is also related to rugby as well.
Yes.
But it's about a winger who plays for the Welsh national team. Just replay it again.
Yeah.
What I found fascinating about this specific one, just go back to that one, the one for the Welsh player. So he's a winger who plays for Wales. He's called Louis Rees-Zammit.
Yep.
So Wakabi, he's made a big decision and decided that he's leaving rugby. He's going to the NFL.
Understandably. One simple thing.
Money, money, money.
Money. If you just make the roster of the NFL at minimum wage, I think it's way more than you will make in rugby in a season. So if you get through that pathway, they call it the International Player Pathway Program, it gives you a chance. There's also the athlete, the hurdler, I forget his name, from the US. He's been doing the same thing. He comes back, competes a bit at the World Championships, doesn't work, goes back to NFL, tries to make a move because the NFL, just the money that you would make, I think it's purely about the money. I think it would be purely about it. Like the opportunity is way bigger, I would believe, rather than in rugby.
I don't know. I think differently. I think he still had a lot in him. Okay, he's young, 22 years old, I believe.
Which makes it even easier to switch.
Yeah, because I think he was on the, even go and play professionally in France. Because France
has nothing. It has nothing.
But they play well in France.
It has nothing on NFL.
I agree.
If you make it to the NFL, if you saw the noise that was there early this morning when the Chiefs were playing, this morning the Buffalo Bills, it's unbelievable. Look at what Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are going. Look at all that hoopla. That's NFL for you. So if you have a chance to go there, even you, please go.
Let me give you an interesting statistic in regards to, he's mentioned it. He said NFL has the money, and I agree with him because if you look at the top 10 teams in the Forbes list, I think about 6 are NFL teams. So I understand. It goes where the money is. I think I'm biased.
Look for bread.
I loved it.
Secure the bag. Get the bread first.
Finally, let's take a look at tennis, and this is in regards to Sabalenka. Wakabi, I love what Sabalenka has been doing at the Australian Open. She's just been doing very interesting. She's a tennis player. There she's kicking over a bottle, just having fun. She's just been enjoying herself. There's another video of her dancing. She was doing, I think, I can't remember the challenge. There's a challenge she was doing.
It's really cool. I think you have to be really, really relaxed to do that.
She's playing in the quarters, I believe.
Yes. Like you, I don't know. Maybe Modoni would tell us. Like how relaxed do you have to be to do something like that?
And she's in the Australian Open. It's a big tournament in tennis.
Yeah. No, you must be very relaxed.
Okay.
Because for your muscles just to also be relaxed, you mentally also have to be relaxed to do that. And also flexible.
Do you use music as well? Because I know some athletes listen to music before. Is that the same for you?
No, I love music.
What's on your playlist before competition day? Like or on competition day before you're going to compete? What's usually on your playlist?
Well, I normally have a mixed playlist which I put together beforehand, and I love to listen to.
Is there a specific, you know, some people have specific songs they listen to. Some people listen to gospel. Some people listen to hip hop. Some people listen. We've seen the African teams at AFCON. They go in with song and dance and drums. Is there a particular, even in your mix, does it have a theme? Is there a particular favorite artist?
I must say it's very far and wide. I love Amapiano, but I also love I love gospel. I really do. I feel like it calms me down. Yeah.
What kind of gospel? Sorry, you've got to go, but what kind of gospel? Is it local gospel? Mom is laughing. She knows what I'm asking.
Yes.
Or is it your Hillsong kind of gospel?
Yeah.
You know, like
no.
Sissy Winans kind of gospel.
Yes.
Which one?
No, Hillsong. Yeah.
Okay. See, Bernard, I know Hillsong.
That's okay. I mean, you didn't expect her to listen to Mogithi.
No. But you know, but some people have a connection with gospel. For example, my preference for gospel is local gospel. Is my dialect gospel more than Hillsong, more than Sissy Winans. That's why I was asking. Yes.
Thank you very much once again, Mudhoni. Ma'am, we really appreciate. From the entire team who made the broadcast possible and the program possible, have a good night. My name is Bernard Ndong. I'll see you again very soon.
Step up to more fun and get more than you pay for. Upgrade now and get boosted to the next package for free. Dial *423# or call 0711 066 000 and upgrade to the next level for free.
I've been talking to my brother here after he was making a statement here. And we have agreed, I can announce it, we agreed that from now on, we shall instruct our officials that there should be no question of how to enter Zimbabwe or how to enter Botswana. That should be cleared. The two of us have agreed, realizing that because we are African, we should be able to walk into Botswana, walk into Zambia, walk into Kenya. And we've just agreed that when we were sitting there, my brother, why do we restrict ourselves? Somebody said in the past, when we were all together, then the Global North came and made boundaries where a family's kitchen became on the other side of the border, the bedroom on the other side of the border. So why should we continue to respect this? Let us open borders among ourselves and move freely. And me and my brother here are saying, please, let us instruct these people who went to school to remove all these things in terms of the law. We, as politicians, are ahead of them in terms of philosophy and the thinking and the integration. But the implementers are these ones who are here, who have PhDs and masters.
Want to know the biggest story of the week? Do not worry. The Weekly Review got you covered. For in-depth analysis of politics, business, governance, as well as social issues, the Weekly Review covers it all. For well-researched, exclusive and investigative content, read the Weekly Review every Sunday in the Sunday Nation.
Don't put off something today because you think you'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is not assured.
We are